Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this awesome set of Adventure Time plushies. I'll be showing you how to make absolutely every single one of these in this video, and I'll show you how to make them in this order. So going from left to right, we have Finn, Jake, Bimo, Princess Bubblegum, Ice King, and last but not least, actually probably least, we have Lemongrab. So like I said, I'll show you how to make every single one of these in the order that I just said their names, and I think that we should probably get this thing started. But do remember that if you like this video, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. If you like stuff like this, if you like these plushie tutorials, I've also made some SpongeBob characters and also some Avengers characters as well. Both of those will be present in both the card system and in the description below. And like I said, like the video if you like it and suggest more stuff that you would like to see in plushie form. So without any further ado, let's get this thing started, as I have slowly been backpedaling my way to where we are going to build Finn. So, for Finn, we will need ourselves some white terracotta, blue concrete, light blue concrete, white concrete, black concrete, green concrete, and lime concrete too. To begin the build, we are going to start with a row of 6 blue concrete in a row on the ground. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add an additional row on top of that. Then add 4 rows of light blue. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We then want to create Finn's legs. These are always in the same place on every statue. So, to explain this once, you want to take the bottom 4 blocks at the bottom left-hand side of the statue, and you want to place white terracotta in front of the bottom 4 blocks in a square shape. You want to place black concrete in front of the white terracotta, and you want to do the same on the opposite side. White terracotta, followed by black terracotta, forming cubes. That is where the legs will always be on each one of these 6 statues. We now want to come up to the top of the statue, and we want to add a row of white concrete on top of the blue. In front of this row of white, we want to place a white concrete in front of the left and right hand blocks, with white terracotta in between. We want to place a row of white terracotta on top of all of that, and then starting from the left hand side, going right, place a white concrete, a black, 2 white terracotta, black, white concrete, and then do the same for the next row. So make both rows the same, make them nice and even. For the next row, place an entire row of white terracotta, and for the final row, make it white concrete, like this. Take the top of the head and extend it backwards by 5 rows using the white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You then want to take this row and you want to extend it down. And the point of extending it down is so that we can ultimately connect it to where we first started, creating a nice solid cube shape. Well, we will then also fill that cube in with white concrete. So we'll fill the left hand side and the right hand side in with white concrete. And in Finn's case, as there are differences between the statues, although not many, we will be also giving him ears. So his ears, starting from the front right hand corner and the top front left hand corner of the head, you want to move 1 block back and place 2 white concrete blocks in succession. These will give Finn ears, and they look nice and cute. They're perfect. Let's move down now, and let's make Finn's body. So his body is basically starting at the very bottom row of blue, and we want to place 3 rows of blue concrete coming out of the back of the statue. So that's going to be 1 row, 2, 3. We don't have to fill all of this next row in, so only fill in the outer blocks and use a row of blue concrete. Add a row of U-shaped blue concrete going around the bottom. And then add rows and rows and rows of light blue concrete until you reach the base of the head. That will give you Finn's body, and that will only leave a couple more details. And whilst we are concentrating on Finn's back, we want to place ourselves 2 lime concrete in the top of the center of Finn's back. with green concrete either side, green concrete underneath the lime concrete next to the green, and extend everything downwards by 2 rows using lime concrete. This is a nice little detail which kind of just makes Finn look a little bit nicer. That's his backpack. Finn also has arms. Like his legs, they are in the same position every time. So I'm not going to explain this for every single statue, so they're in the same position every time. You want to take the left-hand side of the body, and you want to take the top 4 right-hand corner blocks, and you want to place 2 rows of light blue coming outwards from them. So that's going to be 1 row, 2 rows. And in front of this, place 2 rows of white terracotta coming outwards in front of the statue. Same position every time on each one of the 6 statues. There's more than 4. And you also want to do the same thing on the opposite side, and this will complete Finn. That will be all of Finn done, and he looks great, and it doesn't take that long either. Once you've completed Finn, we're now going to make Jake. Jake is a tad bit simpler. So to make Jake, we need black concrete, white concrete, yellow concrete, red, and pink. To start off, we're going to begin with 6 rows of 6 yellow concrete on the ground. So if you start with a row of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and add 5 rows on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're just going to fill those in. That will be the front of Jake's body. We have to give Jake legs. His legs are only yellow, so we want to place 2 rows of yellow coming out from each one of the leg places. So 1 row of yellow, 2 rows of yellow. Same place every statue. 1, 2. Remember, the same place. We need to do his head, so on top of his body, place a row of yellow concrete. And extend that row towards you, except what you want to do is you want to take the 2 middle blocks and place pink coming towards you with yellow either side. Place red on top of the pink and yellow everywhere else in that row. We want to then, for the next row, going from left to right, place black concrete, white concrete, 2 yellow, white and black, and place for the next row black on top of the white and black, and yellow on top of the yellow. Place 2 rows of yellow coming upwards, 1 and 2, and that will be the head. To add a bit of detail, because he kind of looks like a Digimon at the moment, we want to add yellow concrete to the left of his mouth, to the right of his mouth, and above his mouth, and those are kind of like his jowls, and that just adds a lot more detail to him and actually makes it a lot better. Take the top of his head and extend it backwards by 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We then want to extend this 5th row downwards until we are able to connect to where we very first started. You guys are going to notice that as we build more and more and more of these, there is an absolute formula to doing this. Also remember to fill the sides of the heads in with yellow. That's why I don't really like explaining every single time where the arms are going to go and the legs are going to go, because like I said, it's the same place every time. We now, once we've filled his head in, want to come down to the base of the statue. We want to take the bottom of Jake's body, and we want to place 3 rows of yellow coming backwards. 1, 2, and 3, just like that. We then want to add rows of yellow onto the outer part of his body until we eventually reach the bottom of his head. And this will create Jake's body, pretty much all of it. So he's just very yellow, like that. We have to give him arms. His arms are also surprisingly just yellow. So on the left hand side of the body, remember it's the top front 4 squares. Do 2 rows of yellow coming outwards and 2 rows of yellow coming forwards. Do the same on the opposite side. 1, 2, and 1, 2, like that. That is Jake complete. Let's move on to Bimo. So for Bimo, we're going to need black concrete, white concrete, blue concrete, cyan concrete, yellow concrete, red concrete, light blue concrete, and some lime concrete. Uses a lot of colours. They're mainly for his buttons. So we're going to start off with a row of 6 cyan concrete in a row on the floor. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we want to add another row on top. Going from left to right, do this. For the next row, do 3 cyan, 1, 2, 3. Red, 2 cyan. For the next row, place a cyan, 1 yellow, 2 cyan, 1 lime, 1 cyan. Place 3 cyan, 1, 2, 3. 1 light blue, and then 2 cyan. Place an additional layer of cyan directly on top. We have to give BMO legs, so his legs are in the same place, and it's 2 rows of cyan. 1, 2. 1, 2. For the head, we want to place an additional row of cyan on top of the body. Extend the left hand block and right hand block towards you using cyan. Place 2 black concrete in the center of the head. And then place white concrete either side. We want to, on top of the cyan blocks, place 5 cyan blocks coming upwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And connect them together at the top. Place a row of white concrete underneath this. And connect the black concrete upwards using white. Place a white concrete on top of these singular white concretes at the base of the head and fill in the rest of the face using black concrete. Very cute. We then want to take the cyan concrete and place 5 rows of cyan concrete coming out of the back of the top of the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that. We then want to extend down rows of cyan concrete. We want to extend these down until we are able to once again connect them to the front of the head. I'm sure that I don't have to tell you guys that. I'm sure that you can have figured that out already. There we go. We also want to fill in the sides of the head with cyan concrete. And once this is done, we can move on to actually filling in the rest of the body, which, as you guys know, is very simple. There we are. Moving down to the body, we want to place 3 rows of cyan coming out of the back of BMO's bottom. That's 1 row, 2, and 3. We want to connect every single block upwards to BMO's head, like this. So, just want to go all the way up and down, connecting to the body like this, connecting the body to the head. That is perfecto. And all we have to do beyond this is give him arms. In the same position again, place 2 rows of cyan coming outwards from the body. 1, 2. Then 2 cyan coming outwards towards the front. 1, 2. And the same on the opposite side. 1, 2. And then 1, 2. And there we have BMO. This is, by the way, this is my favorite out of all of them. Moving downwards, we're going to make Princess Bubblegum. So to make her, we shall need white terracotta, black concrete, white concrete, light blue, yellow, purple, magenta, and some pink concrete. Almost as much stuff as BMO. Actually, the exact same amount. So to start her off, we are going to need to place a row of 6 magenta in a row on the floor. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add an additional row on top, followed by a row of purple, followed by 2 rows of magenta, 1 and 2. Place 2 purple in the top 2 center blocks, right in the center, and place magenta either side. Let's give her legs. So, her legs are 1 row of magenta, and then a row of purple concrete in, well, you guys know the position. It's 1 row of magenta and then 1 row of concrete in the same place. For the next row, place an entire row of pink on top of the body. And extend that pink towards you, extend the left hand block and right hand blocks towards you, each by 1. Place white terracotta in between. You then want to have that exact same row again, just on top of itself, like this. You know what? We can then extend each one of the pinks up by 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Place a yellow on top. Connect that yellow together. place a row of pink on top of the yellow. Fill in the center of the face using white terracotta, and use black concrete in the empty spaces. If you want to make her look cuter, you can add a little bit of white concrete instead of black. Which one actually looks better? That actually looks a little bit cuter, but it's not necessary. What you can also do is you can also add some additional details. You can extend her hair 2 rows down into her body, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. You can give her like tiara, her crown. You can make that look a slight bit more magnificent by extending the 2 middle yellow blocks towards you, placing a white concrete on top of the left one and a light blue on top of the right. Take the top of Princess's head and do 5 rows of pink coming out of the top of the head. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place a row of yellow concrete around the outside underneath that row of pink, like this. And then simply do as you would usually do, which is placing rows of pink concrete coming down until you inevitably are able to connect to the front of her head. So you just want to do that. Fill the sides of her head in with pink, because of course she does have hair, and you can also do the same on this side as well. Once you've done that, come down to the body and place 3 rows of magenta coming out of the back of her. 1, 2, and 3. Then do a row of magenta all the way around on top of that, with a row of purple concrete all the way around on top of that. And then place rows of magenta coming upwards until you connect to the base of the head. Just like this. If you like, you can extend her hair down at the back. You can add a few rows of pink that slowly taper down, kind of like a pyramid, if you like. Let's place her arms. So her arms are made out of 2 rows of magenta coming out of the side, 1 row, 2 rows, and then 2 rows of white terracotta coming out of the front, 1, 2. And then the opposite side also, 1, 2 rows of magenta, and then 2 rows of white coming out of the front. And there we have Princess Bubblegum complete. Let's move on to Ice King. So Ice King is going to need some black concrete, blue concrete, light blue concrete, white concrete, yellow concrete, and some red concrete. So to make him, we want to begin with 6 rows of blue concrete, or rather a row of 6 blue concrete. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you do actually want to add 5 rows on top of this. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 rows of blue concrete, I guess, was right. 6 rows of 6. Like this. His legs are made out of 1 row of blue, and then 1 row of black, coming out from the usual spot. For his head, we want to place a row of white concrete directly on top of the body, extend the left hand and right hand concretes towards you by 1, place light blue in between. To make his beard, we want to add a row of white concrete directly underneath all of that, add another row coming down, shrink it by a row either side, and do that again. Like this. Kind of looks like a smurf. We then want to add a row of light blue concrete on top of the beard. We then, for the next row, going from left to right, want to do a white concrete, black, 2 light blue, black, white. Make the next row the exact same thing. Underneath the eyes, connected together, we want to place a single row of light blue coming outwards to form a nose. On top of the eyes, place an entire row of light blue concrete. For the next row on top of this, going from left to right, place 2 yellow, 2 red, 2 yellow. And what we want to do is we actually want to, this is a bit different, right? So we want to take the ends of the back of the head and we want to extend them using the yellow towards us by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then want to connect them together at the back. And then we want to add rows of white concrete coming down until we reach the exact same head shape as we would for anybody else. I don't know why I'm going off formula here, but it's the same thing that we've done for everybody else. It's just the rows of white coming downwards because his hair is very, very white. He's pretty old, and we just want to bring this down, don't we? So we're just going to connect this all the way downwards to the front of the head. And once you've done that, you also want to fill the top of the head in with white because the crown doesn't sit all the way on top of his head. It's just all the way around. And to make the crown look a little bit more extravagant, you can place a row of yellow, or you can place a row of red on top of the red of the crown. Place yellow on top of that, and extend the left hand and right hand corners of the crown upwards by 1. Magical. We now want to make the rest of the body, which involves placing 3 rows of blue concrete coming out of the back, 1, 2, and 3, and then extending these upwards until we eventually reach the base of the head. So it's going to take a while, isn't it? But we're going to extend them upwards until we reach the base of the head, like this. If you want to make hair, then I would simply do the same thing as you did with Princess Bubblegum, in which you gradually just kind of like taper down like that, and you just create a more realistic looking hairline. And for his arms are 2 rows of blue concrete coming out of his body, with 2 rows of light blue concrete coming out of the front. So that is of course the same on the opposite side. 2 rows of blue concrete coming out of the body, out of it, and then light blue concrete coming out towards the front. And there you will have Mr. Ice King. Let's move on to the final statue, which is of course Lemongrab. I wish I could let out a squeal right now. So Lemongrab, we need some black concrete, grey concrete, white concrete, yellow, and some green. To make Lemongrab, we want to start with a row of 6 grey concrete. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add another row on top. Add a row of green on top of this. And for the next row, going from left to right, place 3 grey concrete going right. 1, 2, 3. With a black to the right of that. Grey on top. Black on top of that. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then make the entire rest of the body grey concrete. I was just counting there to make sure that that was 6, that there wasn't a sneaky row of grey above that. His legs are made entirely of black concrete, so do 2 rows of black concrete coming out from the leg places. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2. Add a row of yellow concrete on top of the body for his head, and extend it towards you by 1 row. Add a row of yellow concrete on top of this, and extend the 2 center yellow concretes towards you each by 1. 1, 1. For the next row, we want to place, going from left to right, a white concrete, black, 2 yellow, black, white, and do the same for the next row. So just add an additional row on top. Place 2 rows of yellow on top of this, 1 row, and that will be 2 rows of yellow. And take the top of the head and extend it backwards by 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. And extend these downwards until you eventually are able to connect to the base of the head. You guys know how this works. You want to be able to connect to where the head is started from. So we want to extend these back and connect. Fill in the sides of the head with, of course, yellow. He is Lemongrab. He is a lemon, essentially. And we just want to fill in the sides of the head using our yellow. And we want to take the base of the body and we want to place 3 rows of grey concrete coming out of the back of the bottom. So that's 1 row, 2, 3. Go around that row of grey and add an additional row of grey on top of it, with a row of green on top of that. And then add rows of grey until you meet the base of the head. Just like this. Wonderful. His arms, same place every time. 2 rows of grey coming outwards. 1, 2, and 2 rows of yellow coming out in front. 1, 2. Same on the opposite side. That's going to be 1, 2, and then 1, 2. And that will give you good old Lemongrab. And that, ladies and gentlemen, if we come to the front of our statues now, and if we turn this off, and if we have a look around, you'll see that we now have 2 whole sets of Adventure Time plushies. I do like seeing them both together, and you can actually see with Princess Bubblegum, I almost said Gubblebum. With Princess Bubblegum, you can see which eyes you like better. I kind of actually like just the black eyes, but hey, you know, do what you want. And that's the entire set. If I could have made more, I would have. I mean, I could have made more, but this video is already almost half an hour long, so I didn't want to make it an entire hour just making loads and loads of characters. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. I love these tutorials. I love making and designing these plushies. It's very fun, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys wanted to see more. Then you could leave one unified suggestion at the top of the comments if you wanted to see, I don't know, if you wanted to see the Justice League, or if you wanted to see another particular set of cartoon plushies, then I'd be very interested to see what you guys wanted to see. It doesn't have to be 6 characters, it could just be 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me know. Subscribe to the channel if you wouldn't mind. If you enjoy the content, click the little bell to ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. Comment down below, let me know what you want to see. I'd love to see what you guys want to see. And of course, if you want to check out any more of the plushie tutorials, or absolutely anything that you can kind of see in the background, I've got quite a lot of stuff cooking, then please do remember to check out the card system and the description below for all of that stuff. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I had a good time making this tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed watching it. I'll see you in the next video.